Today I will show you how to complete the first stage of the Understanding by Design template. In Stage 1, you will be using a backwards design process to create a unit by first identifying the desired results you want your students to achieve. In the first part of the template, you will provide some information about what you plan to teach and who you plan to teach it to. You'll fill out some basic background information, such as the name and number of this course that this unit will be a part of, what school or organization you work for, and some general information about the course. You will also list or link resources that you plan to use as a part of this unit. You'll then move on and fill out some information about the unit itself. Give the unit a title, a time frame of how long you expect it will take to complete, and you will also determine how the unit is expected to be delivered, whether it's in a face-to-face, blended, online, or other type of learning environment. At the end of this section, you'll state the importance of teaching this unit and how it relates to the course. It's important to remember that any of this information can be edited in the future, as this is a flexible planning template. In the next section of the template, you will state the big idea of your unit. This should be a general statement that is easy to understand and reflects the main idea of what you want students to understand by the end of the unit. Try not to focus too much on formal academic language, as this is a statement that should be easily understood by a student or someone not in your field. Next, you will provide information about the professional organizations that created the standards or competencies for your unit. It's important to find standards from professional organizations instead of creating your own. This is because the organizations created them with a lot of input, time, and resources available to them. Here in the template, you can provide the name of the organization, a link to their website, and a link to the specific standards if they are available to you. After you've provided that information, you can list the specific standards or competencies that you'll be using for this unit. Copy and paste the standard into the box and then list the corresponding code in the left-hand column. For example, if a standard was labeled 2.1, you would put the 2.1 in the left-hand column so that you can reference it in the future parts of the template. After you've completed some information about the unit, you get to start the backwards design process. In order for students to truly understand a concept, they need to be able to apply their learning independently in future situations. So you will start with asking yourself, what do students need to understand in order to apply this information in the future without my help? You'll list 3 to 5 statements that describe long-term goals for your students to achieve. You'll notice that there are codes in the left-hand column that are labeled T1, T2, etc., and then a space in the right-hand column for you to list the specific standard codes that align to those statements. These codes help keep everything organized for reference in future parts of the template. After you've determined what students need to be able to transfer, you continue to work backwards by identifying what students need to understand. You'll do this by creating some essential questions first. Essential questions should be written in question format, and they should not be straightforward with a right or wrong answer. They need to be written in a way that is thought-provoking and encourages discussion. You'll list 3 to 5 questions and provide information on what standard they align to. After this, you'll do the same thing for the understandings. Think about what your students specifically need to understand in order to make meaning in this unit. List 3 to 5 statements, and again, you can align it to a standard by putting your standard code to the right. In the last part of the template, you'll determine what basic knowledge and skills students need to acquire in order to create meaning and transfer their knowledge. In the knowledge section, you'll list basic facts or concepts that students need to remember. These are things that are facts, so they are correct, or they're right or wrong, or easily memorizable. You'll list 3 to 5 facts or concepts that they need to know and align them to a standard, and you'll do the same thing in the skills section, except this is where you're focusing on what students need to be able to do or what processes they need to be able to follow. And again, you'll list 3 to 5 and align the standard to the right. At this point, you have completed the first stage of the Understanding by Design template, and you will be ready to move on to stage number 2. It is important to remember that this is a flexible tool, so feel free to come back to stage 1 and change things as needed. The design process is a cycle, so you will always need to refer back to stage 1 throughout the design process.